The idea here is we're going to touch on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as inbound marketing tools. We're going to then choose Twitter as the example for sourcing new candidates as we use an example throughout this presentation. And so in the second half of the presentation, we're going to go through a 5-step process of understanding how to use your Twitter effectively. So we're going to talk about the process of how you define your target market, developing your social presence. How do you become known throughout the community? How do you want yourself to look to other people, which is all very important. Growing followers. Growing your followers with Twitter is actually kind of fun because unlike some of the other social networks we use, you can go out there and aggressively grow your Twitter followers. And I'm going to show you some cool little programs that, as far as I'm concerned, they're cheat sheets. And if anyone really wants to get into this, they're going to have to start to use these programs. So these should be some good little treats toward the end. Engagement through tweeting. Essentially, I'm going to teach you what to tweet. One of the biggest questions I had when I started tweeting is, what the heck are people tweeting? I don't get this. So we're going to talk about what you can tweet and some of the ways, some of the different angles we can use. Tweeting is a very personal, it's very personal to every company. Every company is going to be a little bit different. And so we're going to help you find your voice. And then finally, I'm going to show you some automation techniques, and then we're going to evaluate how your social media campaign is doing. So one of the most important things is to make sure if you're running a social media campaign, we want to know what our ROI is. We'll get into that at the end. So, one thing I do want to touch in is this idea of inbound marketing. So traditionally, marketing has been done by what's called outbound marketing. Outbound marketing is your commercials, it's conferences, it's going out to seminars, it's email blasts. The idea is you're going to push your message out to basically a very general audience. You'll try to target it as much as you can, but it's going to be very general. And you're going to entice them to then come back and want your product. What social media is it's a little bit different, and it's called inbound marketing. Now, the difference, and the definition I'm going to give you is inbound marketing focuses on earning, not buying, a person's attention, which is done through social media and engaging content such as blogs, podcasts, and white papers. The content is interesting, informative, adds value, creates a positive connection in the eyes of the consumer, thus making him or her more likely to engage with your brand and buy the product. The idea is that it's going to cost less and have a better return on investment. So step one of when you decide what am I going to, or how do I figure out where are my candidates? And this is one of the toughest questions, is to figure out how do I even find the people that I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick overview of some of where your candidates may be. Everyone's candidates are going to be on different platforms. None of us can be experts on all platforms. So what you're going to do, I want to give you enough information so that you can figure out which platform and say, hey, I want to grip on to maybe Facebook or maybe Instagram is really the platform that's ideal for me. And so we'll discuss a little bit of the advantages and disadvantages of each of the platforms before we get into going into the Twitter only presentation. So the first step is I like to look at age. And when we look at Facebook, we're going to notice that it is no longer the prominent social network for young people. In fact, if you look at age demographics 13 to 17, they only have 5% of their users there. The real big spot where Facebook is now become between 18 and 24 has some users, but really it's at 25 to 54. So if your candidate you're looking for is 25 to 54, Facebook is going to be a good platform for you to find them on. Next one is Instagram. Instagram is quite interesting in the fact that 4 million users are the age between 18 and 29. I can tell you from my experience that essentially everyone between the ages of 18 and 24 on their phone will have an Instagram account. We'll get into a little bit more, but Instagram is really a phone app. It's not meant to be used on your on your computer or laptop, but it's extremely effective for visual marketing. Twitter is a younger crowd. There are about 200 million Twitter users that are active. Most of the Twitter users are between 18 and 49. This covers a lot of your potential candidates, and that's why we want to go through and use this as an example. In addition, Twitter is not the most, I always like to say, it's not the most intuitive social network, and so that's why I feel that's a good example to look in. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very interesting in the fact that, as you can see, it has a pretty even spread across ages. What you're going to want to take in with LinkedIn is a lot of people are on LinkedIn, but it's the type of people that are on LinkedIn that we're going to get into a little bit. So let's jump into that first. In LinkedIn, what are my users doing that are on LinkedIn? When people come onto LinkedIn, essentially, the majority of people are there to research people and companies. They may be researching you to learn more about your company. They may be trying to sell something to you, so they want to know a little bit more information about you. Or a lot of people are just trying to reconnect with past colleagues. Say hi, build their network, and then possibly that network can lead to sales, acquisitions of candidates and such. One thing that's kind of interesting is that the amount of people seeking job opportunities on LinkedIn has relatively dropped. It's 35%. LinkedIn has taken a pretty good hit on its stock because investors are questioning the value of what's called the LinkedIn feed. A lot of recruiters use it very, very often. So you'll see, as your LinkedIn feed, you may see a lot of job offerings coming through. And so it's gotten a little bit inundated where it was meant to be a true professional sharing program, where now it's become a little bit more spammy. I like it better for researching companies and people. However, I know that a lot of you have had great success in finding new candidates and recruiting. I urge you to do that, and there's going to be certain industries where that's going to be extremely effective. So if your candidates are professional, say you have a financial, people that work in the insurance industry or people that are developers, work in the IT industry, these people are going to have LinkedIn accounts. However, if your candidates tend to be maybe working in manufacturing, maybe in let's just say a little bit lower socioeconomic position, it's less likely that you're going to find them and attract them on LinkedIn. So keep that in mind. Who's your target market, and where are we going to find them? If they are, generally think about people who are professionals in computers. If they are, they have a LinkedIn account. It is hard to do a little bit of mass marketing on LinkedIn, but you can do some very specific reaching out. I highly suggest you have your own LinkedIn page, though, so people can research you. And Instagram. Instagram is wild. It's in the fact that 50% of the users access the site daily, which is a very, very high engagement rate. The demographic is extremely young. Like we said, generally you're going to find most users under 24. It's great for showing job offers, though. It gives you a very visual platform. So what you're going to do is it's not just pictures. As in this example that I'm showing, this is an example from a staffing company named Aerotech. And what they're doing is through Twitter, you're able to write text on Instagram. You take an image and you're able to write text on that image. And that text becomes very powerful in the image. Images are always extremely powerful whenever we're doing online marketing. Instagram is just images. So by putting that text in, you're going to be able to do job offers. We'll get into some more examples. There's a lot you can do with Instagram. So keep in mind that if you have this younger crowd that you're looking for, I can almost guarantee it, if they're under 24, they're going to have an Instagram account. They're probably going to have a Snapchat account too. I'm not sure how you're going to advertise on Snapchat, but the kids are on there. Keep in mind this is a mobile device, so if you're going to want to start learning about this, you're going to need to download the app either on an iPad or your phone, and you're going to be able to work on it from there.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it would be the right age.
The next
See what my friends are.
platform I want to talk about is Facebook. So everybody here probably knows Facebook, and this is not going to be a surprise to anybody. As we noted earlier, the demographics have changed quite a bit. Well, it actually was released when I was in college. I was one of the first users at Indiana University. I was one of the top 2,000 users to start joining it. And at that time, everybody was on Facebook. Well, now it's become, quote, uncool for the younger kids, and the demographics have changed. If I were to tell you what people are doing on Facebook, I mean, we can say that it's to see what my friends are up to relieve boredom, I'm hanging out at work. I think what most people are really doing on Facebook is just to go to look at baby pictures. I mean, if you've seen any of your friends post a baby picture, you better believe they're getting a lot of engagement. And so it's kind of changed a little bit as far as what people are using Facebook for.
If most of it's being used for baby pictures, I guess I'm kind of what kind of organic idea do you have for applying that? Because obviously, I guess baby pictures are life events.
Right. Okay.
So how do you use that? Because I guess we can't go out and use Facebook like we would necessarily LinkedIn.
Right, and that's actually, that's a wonderful question. So Michelle's asking, how can we take advantage of Facebook? And what we notice is that a lot of people, when they share, they're sharing life events. One great life event is a new job position. So what I suggest is, as a great organic trick, or not trick, but as a campaign that's something easy that everyone can implement today, is you offer a $5 gift certificate to all new candidates that start with you and go out to a client. What you do is you say, I want you to go out to your client, have someone take a picture of you, or you take a picture of your selfie, and you have a big smiling face while you're at your client, and then you post on your own Facebook page something along the lines of thanks at XYZ Staffing, so they name you, for this great opportunity to work with at XYZ client. So you're also putting your client's name in there. What this does is it puts it on the feed of your candidate. So now it's going to be shared among all of the candidates' friends. And then what's cool about that is a lot of your candidates are going to be friends with other potential candidates.
That's brilliant.
It's a very interesting and easy organic marketing idea that I really suggest everyone take advantage of. It's going to give you exposure to your clients, it's going to give you exposure to you, and it's going to help you build candidates across through their own network. So it lets you expand your network quite a bit.
All right.
Great. There's another great use for Facebook, especially for everyone in staffing companies, and that is a repository for all your job offerings. Everyone has a little different way of presenting their jobs, whether it be on their website, maybe they have LinkedIn. But what I like to say is Facebook is a great repository for all of your jobs. You can actually have all your job listings on Facebook and make it extremely easy to update just by getting an app. You go onto Facebook and you search apps, and you just say job application. And what I've done is I've given you a printout of someone who, Robert Half Technology, who I assume most of you have heard for, on their top line, they have a tab that says work for us. And they have different jobs that you can go in there, click on that, and apply for that job directly through Facebook. So what we want to think about this is we may send people to Facebook for different reasons. So we may say, on your Instagram page, you may say, join us on our Facebook to see our current job offering. This is just a very simple way, and as opposed to it's just an alternative to your website. It's another way to keep jobs out there and to help people share jobs throughout their own network. So our big talk for today is we're going to get on Twitter. Twitter is, as I said earlier, to me it's not the most intuitive. The idea is you have 140 characters to say something, and that something is supposed to bring in candidates. And so when I first started doing this in 2013, I'll admit I had no idea what to do, what to tweet. And So I want to go through this kind of five-step program, or 5 steps to kind of get you going so that you can go out, and if you want to start a Twitter account, you can do it today. Important thing to know about is your lingo. So these are going to be some words that we're going to get into some more. I'm going to show you each one, but a tweet is a sent out message. A retweet, I'll show you examples. It's just when someone likes your tweet. A hashtag is essentially a bookmark. I'm sure a lot of you have seen hashtags and don't know what they are. As you can see here, these are actual hashtags that are in use on Twitter right now. By using the example, we are hiring a hashtag forklift driver, anyone who searches forklift is more likely to find your tweet than someone who did not use it as a hashtag.
So Twitter is both outbound and...
Yes, it's ideally there is an outbound advertising, but what we want to really focus on is we're going to try to use an advantage or both. So we want to use the inbound for free, and then if it's success as well, then we want to move to more of a paid type if it's working extremely well.
But when you're sending out your tweets, you're letting them know you have a job, or you've just done something wonderful, you found a great article, or whatever. You're calling them to action, right? We were kind of talking a little bit about call to action.
Right, and I think you hit a good point. It's a little bit of a gray zone. So what we're trying to do is, what we want to do on our Twitter account is give 80%, receive 20%. And what that means is I want to give out information. And we're going to talk about the different types of information we can get out. And then that 20% is going to be that here's an actual job offer or something like that. And that is a little bit more of an outbound technique. However, the idea is that we've created a Twitter page that Twitter understands that you are a staffing company. And so when a potential candidate searches in Twitter, you're going to show up because Twitter understands your relevance. This is a little bit of a complicated issue that I'm going to dive into a little bit more. I'm going to show you an example of, again, we're back to my, one of my handles. I'm not trying to sell this to anybody. It's just an easy explanation. So I pulled this up. I took this screenshot earlier today. And a couple of what we want to know. So this is called my Twitter background. When someone clicks on my page, this is what they're going to see. I name my product, I give a little bit of information, and for most of you, I would also have a call to action on this site, such as apply now at this URL, or call us at this phone number. Another place where we're going to do that, the reason we want to do that is because most people on Twitter are actually looking at Twitter through a mobile phone. So we want to make sure that they can access us easily through their mobile phone, and we don't need to hide our contact information. So here's a great place to put contact information as well. This is called our biography. Now, our biography is essentially, it is our story that we tell people who we are and what we're doing, why we're on Twitter and what we're doing. In this case, I tell people that I'm selling living phytoplankton with omega-3, naturally reduces inflammation and joint pain, arthritis, lupus, vegan. Visit Aqua Health Labs and buy yours today. What you're going to notice is I use hashtags within my bio. And what I suggest is most of you use between 1 and 3 hashtags in your bio. And what that does is it helps narrow down and tell Twitter what your handle is all about. So Twitter is going to, when I speak to Twitter, Twitter understands that if someone searches for the words arthritis, lupus, or vegan, I'm going to show up very high or higher than people who are not posting those words often. So this is called a keyword-based system.
So in staffing, if someone was posting that they were looking for forklift drivers or they were looking for administrative assistants, they would definitely put those as their specialties.
Yes, absolutely. I would say everyone should put, I would say at least hashtag staffing. Now, if you do have something specific, maybe it's warehousing, forklift, what you want to do is just search them in Twitter. search hashtag forklift and see how many people are out there tweeting about that. The more you find, the more you're gonna find that's an active, what we call a trending hashtag. So you're gonna wanna use that hashtag. And as we get down here, here's an actual tweet that I have sent out. 5 reasons women need omega-3. So, and then what I have here is I have them sending them to my website. So Twitter is really used as a headline. It's 140 character headlines that you think of it as a commercial. And what my commercial is trying to do is trying to pull them to my website or to my Facebook page or to my LinkedIn page or to wherever I want them. So in this one, we could see that I also use hashtags because I want anybody who's in that health. FitFam is a hashtag that I have researched and I know that I use in fitness to take a closer look. Here are, when we get back to some of the lingo, this is an actual tweet that I sent out. And if someone were to want to respond to this, they click right here, and this is how you reply to a tweet. Reply to a tweet is one of the ways that a tweet is engaged with. And we're going to talk a lot about engagement. Engagement with your feed is very important because the more engaged users are with you, Twitter then gives you more importance and moves you up the stack so that you're more searchable when people try to search out your handle. If I were to retweet someone, it is right here. What retweeting means is that I like this piece of information, and say Michelle's looking at my website and she goes, wow, I really want to share this with my followers. She's going to press retweet, and what that's going to do is it's going to then take my tweet and put it on her feed, and it's going to show all of her users the tweet that she found. Engagement is a big part of Twitter. You're going to want to reach out to other people. This is how you talk to people. Here's a retweet I did this morning. This is my feed right here. If we were to see all the way down, there would be a bunch of different tweets. But Health Ranger is someone that I do, that I follow closely, and I retweeted him because I want users on my page to be able to see an article that he wrote.
A staffing company that doesn't have its own content really, or is still working on their content, they could retweet articles from, say, the Wall Street Journal, or anything about jobs, or from other staffing companies, right? Exactly.
What I do is I love to retweet from, there are lots of feeds that have actual no original content and have a lot of, I'm going to use the word authority, and authority essentially means how much relevance that Twitter puts on it. So there are lots of actual feeds out there that are handles, people that just retweet other people. So a staffing company could go out and find other staffing companies and retweet their information. They could go out and follow, for example, the Department of Labor. Department of Labor may have interesting articles about how, in different states, about what's going on with the unemployment and such. We have all of us know the American Staffing Association releases a lot of good information. We can even do, a lot of us get emails as well. I get an email from...
And the CSP.
Yeah, and the CSP, I'm sorry, the CSP, absolutely. And the CSP, I retweeted them this morning about myself. And then, but other articles, sometimes I'll get an email. And that email, I'll get it from Insurance Journal, and it may be related to saying, hey, staffing has got this difference. There's an update in staffing. So what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste the title, start a new tweet by just pressing tweet right here, and it's going to pop up a little box. And in that box, I'll just copy and paste the name of that headline. And then I will put a link in there. I'll copy and paste the link from the article and put it in there. And then I may put hashtag staffing afterwards. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of these. It's a great way, though. You do not need, and I love this question, you do not need your own content. What you want is relevant content. So what do my users want to see? What do my candidates want to see? That's what you always really want to keep in your mind. And so we're going to kind of keep building on this, is what do people want to see? Because what do we tweet? It's always a big question. Down here, I just want to quickly show you, this is a direct message. It has become pretty saturated and spammy. You can direct message someone by coming up to here, and you can actually send a message directly to another person. However, as you can see this morning, I have all these just silly messages because everyone does an auto reply now, myself included, on my tweets. It's kind of I'll be honest, the direct messaging has become so spamish that it's no longer useful. A year ago, it was extremely useful, but things are changing very quick all the time in technology. So we've decided that we found our market. We've decided that, or we found our our platform. We decided we want to go to Twitter. We know that the people that we're working with. Let's just use for an example. They're 28 years old. This could be a nurse. This is going to fall under everybody that is going to be out there is likely going to have a Twitter account. Every one of your candidates, whether it be warehousing, whether it be admin, whether it be IT, I really can't think of a lot of people who are not going to have a Twitter account. It's a very universal platform. And so the first step you're going to want to do is establish your presence. So back to my Aqua Health Labs, this is my icon. This is what everybody sees. And what I really liked about my icon, and I took Ellen's as well, because Ellen is one of the biggest on the internet, and of course I'm showing my staffing advice, is in all three of these, you're going to notice it's a very clean image. Because this image people are going to be seeing on their phone. At points, this image is only going to be a few pixels wide, and it's going to be very small. So if you have a lot going on in your small image, people are not going to relate well to it. People like to see something clean. It's just, people are going to respond better to you when they see a clean image. And then you're going to want to have a background. This background with CSP, we have a nice showing the nice California oceans and beaches that we live by. It gives a great sense of how wonderful California is. I just worked on one here and Michelle. She created one, or her daughter, I believe, created one, and it's phenomenal. I wish I would have brought it up as an example, but it says, it has the name of the company. It says the names of what they do, IT, staffing, and then it goes on and says, give us a call today at this number. I love it. It has a call to action. It says what they do. It says, and then it says who they are. It's a wonderful use of space. So use this space as not only a picture, but as a place to tell people things. Now keep in mind, these images are going to constantly resize. Whether if I look at the image we're looking at right here was from a desktop. If I look at this on my phone, it's going to get much smaller and it's going to resize. So different wording you put on here is going to change spots. If you Google Twitter image sizes, you're going to find all the different sizes you need, and you may need to play around with it a little bit. So when I look at it, you want to look at it on your phone and on your desktop. Those are the two most common places a candidate's going to look at your Twitter feed. Make sure that when you look at your phone that it looks clean and you understand that. Also, I would suggest, and I don't do this I send people to my website. I would suggest having a phone number right here. Send them either to your website. We want to definitely have your website, your location, but get that phone number right in here. A lot of people are looking at this on their phones, so let them be able to click right from your tweet and from your feed and call you immediately from there. Another interesting thing is this kind of gives you an idea of what your feed is all about. So we talked about mine's about reducing inflammation. Well, let's read Ellen's real quick. It's comedian, talk show host, and ice road trucker. My tweets are real and they're spectacular. Well, it's kind of, that's what Ellen is. She's funny. She's a comedian, and so her Twitter account represents that. And when you want to look at some of the biggest Twitter accounts and what they're doing, look at Ellen's. Ellen, Justin Bieber, and President Obama are about the biggest Twitter accounts you're going to see. They've each reached 100 at one time, what's called a clout measurement. They're the only three to have ever reached that. That means they're the most engaged Twitter users in the planet. Here's my personal one that I recently just started a couple months ago when I was starting to do these presentations. And what I put in is sharing important staffing, hashtag recruiting and employment news, hashtag insurance, consultant for workers' compensation and hiring strategies. I then give you a link. I'm a little bit more serious in my profile. I'm trying to sell large insurance policies, so I need to come off with a professional presentation in my Twitter feed. I like to, as I noted, about 1, 2, 3 hashtags would be, if you're going to hashtag, do not use more than 3 hashtags. You don't want to hashtag everything. But you can use up to 3. That's what I did. 1 is just fine. Ellen doesn't hashtag. She doesn't need to. Everyone knows who Ellen is. But I would suggest everyone throw in a staffing hashtag in there. Now we're going to talk about how do we grow our followers. So how do you grow an active and relevant following? And one thing I really want to talk about is relevant following. Twitter understands and recognizes people and recognizes handles or an account. When I say handles and accounts, these are the same thing. It looks at who they're following. And by looking at essentially its group of friends, it's able to figure out what you're doing. So California staffing professionals should be following a lot of staffing companies, and they should be followed back by a lot of staffing companies. So then when someone searches staffing in Twitter, California staffing professionals should show up high in the search results. And the reason would be is that they have relevant followers and following. Now, people that are following you is not as important. Don't worry about if you're going to have a lot of spam followers, that's fine. But when you follow people, and this is people that you're following right here, these people are the people that you want to be, let's use clients. Let's talk about employees, job boards, competitors. Link to with your competitors. It helps all of you work together. You work together and you're actually going to do better, because if you're linked to other staffing companies, Twitter knows you're a staffing company. Other industry partners, and then your clients. I would absolutely make sure that when you sign up with a new client, tweet something out to them. Hey, it's wonderful to start working with @so-and-so. You guys are, an amazing company, and we can't wait to continue it. So let's develop a little bit of an online relationship with some of our clients. Now, when you determine who we want to follow, one of the easiest tricks for growing is to look at who, for example, the California staffing professional is following. So they're followers right here. So this is the people that they are out there following. And what all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to see then a whole list of everybody that they're following. And so what then you can do is just start clicking and following all those people that they're following. And it's a real easy way to go out there and kind of follow other people. And the hope is that they're going to then follow you back. Usually you can get about 20% with a good handle should get roughly 20% follow back. So each day I'm allowed to follow 1,000 new people. And if I follow 1,000 new people, I should get roughly 200 follow backs. And we're going to talk about some easy tricks to how do I follow 1,000 people in a single day, because that seems like quite a time-consuming process. To give you an idea of what I currently do with my Aqua Health Lab, I may follow, on a good week, I'll follow 7,000 people. That may take me a total of 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm going to show you how I do that, how I find these people to follow, and some kind of little tricks. Anyone you see with a large Twitter handle out there, they're not doing this, they're using programs like this, and these programs are super simple. Twitter, any social media is not meant to be a full-time job. Unless you are a $100 million company that has a full social media person, that has a full-time social media person, we want to be able to make this something that we can do in an hour a day max, maybe an hour a week. That's how I figured out mine. I send out hundreds of tweets every single day, yet I don't even open my Twitter account. We're going to get into how we do that. This is a program I want everyone to check out. This is basically a cheat program. So it's called the Crowdfire app. The Crowdfire app is amazing. So what it does, if you look on the left right here, this shows my Aqua Health Lab. This is my account. I can now see all the people who are not following me. fans. This is people who follow me, but I do not follow back. I'm interested in inactive followers. These are people who essentially have not tweeted anything within 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, meaning that they're essentially what we call dead feeds. They're not active feeds. But what I use a lot is copy followers, or is a hashtag. So in this example, what I'm searching for, pretend that I'm under my staffing handle, and I want to find different nurses. So I'm looking for nurse staffing companies. I'm also looking for nurses, and then maybe different industry or different nursing associations. So what I did is I put hashtag nurse under keyword follow, or I could have just put the word nurse. Both of these will work. And it gives me this list of all these different people that I can follow with these little with these little green buttons. And all you have to do is you can just click away right here, and that list is going to keep going up. So you can just click, 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 click. Now, that is a bit cumbersome. I have done that. I literally got carpal tunnel syndrome for doing that for over 2 months. And I thought to myself, I'm a computer guy. Why am I clicking 2,000 times? Because I was following 1,000, unfollowing another 1,000. So I'm going to tell you, anyone who's listening today, is to write down this, and this is a free program that allows you to auto-click. And what I mean by auto-click is that you put your mouse right over this spot right here. You press a command on your keyboard. It's any command you use. I personally use Control-1. And when I press Control-1, what's going to happen is it's going to click automatically every 500 milliseconds. So that's going to allow me to just press click, and it's going to follow 120 people as fast as it can, and then it's going to hit a limit. Then you're going to need to wait 1 minute, and then you're going to be able to do that again, and whoop, you're going to follow another 120 people. You're going to need to wait about 1 minute or 30 seconds, and you're going to do it again. Follow those 1,000 people again. Follow those people, 120. So again, this is called Murgee, MURGEE.com, and it's the auto clicker. They have several different programs on there, but again, Murgee, MURGEE.com, and that is the auto clicker. That is another cheat program used with this. And cheat's the wrong word. If you're going to do this right, this is how it gets done. You should be using this because then you're not going to spend an hour following people. One thing to note is that when you're following in this, the way that Twitter works is you can only follow 1,000 new people a day. So you want to follow 1,000 new people every single day. That is my goal. But on the other hand, I can only follow until we get above 10,000 followers, I can only follow up to 5,000 people. So what happens when I follow those 5,000 people? I have 5,000 followers, or I have 5,000 people that I'm following, but only 1,000 are following me. Well, at that point, I'm just going to get rid of those people who are not following me back. Because I want people that are following me back. If they're not following me back, then they're not seeing my tweet. So I go up to here in the non-followers. It clicks up a list just like this, and instead of a plus sign, there's a minus sign. I use my auto-clicker program. I say, give me 1,000 clicks every 500 milliseconds. I go Control-1, and I unfollow 1,000 people so that I can then go and follow a new 1,000 people. It's just kind of a brute force method. It's very effective, and it's how I've built my my current Aqua Health Labs to about 19,000 followers. I suggest that you go through the tutorials. This isn't something that I can teach you how to use over this webinar, but it is something that, given a little bit of work and a little bit of time, you're going to be able to figure out yourself.
Well, that's a great automation tool.
Yes, and I highly suggest it. This is what, I was able to get myself 2,000 new followers within about a week using this with my own handle. And it's just and they're all related. I have very relevant handles. I make sure that I only follow staffing companies, and my staffing advice handle only shows me related people to staffing, because Twitter knows exactly what that handle does. So I'm very specific. So I may follow the American Staffing Association. Actually, my first follow, I may follow a lot of you people. California Staffing Professionals is the first. I followed everybody that follows the California Staffing Professionals. So a lot of you may have seen me try to follow you, and then I may have unfollowed you if you did not follow me back. The next way is to grow followers actively. So this is a little bit more intensive of a method. The idea is we're going to seek out specific users, and then we're going to send them a specific tweet. So I I see a nurse out there, and I'm a nursing company. And I see this nurse, and I just love her. I see maybe a nursing association that's in California, and you need to place something in nursing. And I might say, hi, at Nursing Association. I love your feed. I was hoping maybe you would share this with your users. And then we add a picture into our tweet. And I've added this picture. This is an actual True Blue sends this out. This would be part of the tweet. So in a tweet, you can add a picture. Whenever you add a picture into a tweet, that increases your engagement by about 5 to 10 times, but actually about 8 times. So whenever you can, you want to put in a picture. I'm going to tell you real quick what I really love about this picture and why I specifically picked out this picture, and that's back to using your picture but putting text on the picture. Because by putting text on a picture, it's going to draw a lot more attention than just by writing the text. Users are more likely to read the text in here than they are up here. So in this example, True Blue, they named their company right here. They didn't have to put a big title on it. They just subtly put it back there. They put the position name, Hospitality Operations Manager. They gave a location, Houston, Texas. Click and apply today, a call to action, and then we have the 3 happiest, most diverse people of all time. And so this is a really, really great picture or tweet, in my opinion.
Well, it is. It's very effective. It gets my attention. A couple questions. As far as, should they also put a phone number and a website, and how difficult is it to put a picture up of it like that? I mean, how long would that take someone?
That's a great question. Yes, I would put a call to action. I always love that, whether it be a phone number, whether it be call today. You don't want them to have to look too hard to find your information. So maybe in this certain one, you click to apply today. If you were to see this tweet, you would click on it, and there's a link on it that sends you to their application page. Designing these images is not the easiest thing in the world. I'm not going to lie to you. The ideal program to use for this is Photoshop or Illustrator. If you Google the word Twitter tweet picture size, you're going to find how many pixels wide this needs to be and all that sort of thing. Ideally, Photoshop. If you know anyone that knows Photoshop, this is where you're really going to be able to have a lot of freedom. However, Photoshop is very difficult. If you've never worked with Photoshop, it is not intuitive at all. You're not going to be able to jump on Photoshop and figure it out. If you can, God bless you, and you really need to get a job as a graphic designer. But there's the programs out there that will help. A couple programs that we have found is you can just use a simple one called MS Paint. All of you have that on your computers right now. You can just use your basic, you pull in a paint operation, and you're able to then add on the text. One of the ones that is really made for social media and allows you to let's call this a cheat sheet again. It's called PicMonkey. PICmonkey.com. And what this is going to allow you to do is to add pictures. It'll size them for you automatically with the social network you're on. It's going to allow you to add language pretty easy to your picture. Another example is Canva.com, CANVA.com. And then, as always, Google. If you have a question, Google, how do I size pictures? How do I add text to pictures? And that's going to really, Google's always going to be your best opportunity to learn more. I'm going to jump on this a lot, but I've learned everything I know how to do on Google. So when in doubt, Google.
You learn everything you know how to do on Google?
No, everything I've learned has basically been through, well, my background is a little bit in analytics, but everything I've learned has been by trial and error, reading articles on Google, and just figuring it out as I go. And that's, a lot of this is, it's such a personal, and it's going to be very related to you. It really needs you. The trial and error method helps you learn helps you find your voice, is what I like to say, and helps you find what you're going to tweet out and how you're going to talk to friends and followers. Another thing, I want to jump on this real quick. While this webinar is focused on finding candidates, this is a phenomenal opportunity to be able to find clients. I've used this personally where I may use the exact same email. So just real quick, you could list out and give me find a huge list of every single potential client that you would want to work with, and find their @ symbol, find their handle name at XYZ Staffing, and send them the exact same tweet. You could send it out 100 times. Say, hey, hi, just like we saw. Hi, XYZ, I saw your profile and thought you may be interested in connecting. And then send out maybe included with that tweet is a quick picture explaining what you do. This is an extremely effective method for getting clients. I've used it several times, and getting other users, especially relevant users. So let's say you're a nurse staffing and to get a nursing association to retweet one of your tweets, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of run through this relatively quick is what do I tweet? And so this is going to give you guys, I want you to be able to take this home and think about what you can tweet and what works. So what's worked for me is pictures. So these pictures I go through and I've checked out. These pictures have phenomenal engagement rates, meaning that people are replying, tweeting, or liking them. This one I took, it's what's called a meme. It's just, I don't always take nutritional supplements. When I do, it's phyto-original. Over here, I use a hashtag. I was playing off Shark Week. And so during the Shark Week, I was doing different tweets that related to sharks and stuff like that. Here's an example of a tweet that has, this is actually one of my highest engaged tweets. It's people that I follow people that happen to be a lot in the health industry. They love Arnold Schwarzenegger. When I send out a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger inspirational quotes, and they do phenomenal. All my quotes are not meant to give me business. They're meant to make my followers enjoy my feed and what I send out. Tweet a new position. Here's 3 examples of how you do it. Here's a very simple one. This is kind of a spammy looking one in my opinion, but it says area sales manager for cloud ERP jobs in San Francisco. Now then it hashtag San Francisco Bay Area, California jobs. You could actually hashtag it in here so you don't have to repeat it all, but they add jobs and job search, and then they have a link. I don't love this tweet. It just doesn't catch my eye if I'm looking down a feed. Now this tweet does catch my eye. We've gone over this. Here's another tweet that catches my eye. It's Chartwell, and they do a little bit. This is a little bit more of a branding tweet where they say, "Hey, this is who we are. This is the services we offer. Here's a call to here's the number and how to contact them. A picture of a guy just having a great time. Pictures with people, and it sounds silly, but when people are in a picture, try to have them look big. You want hands out. You want hands up. The bigger a person looks, the more likely they are to respond in your picture. This is kind of one of these silly little psychological things, but the more space you take up, the more influence you make. So when you have a picture, make people open and happy. Here's an example of me having a conversation with a company named Chartwell Staffing. I just saw them, they said, let's change our business model rather than follow 20 years of old practices. And what they did is they included ASA Live, so they hashtagged, I assume this was during something that the American Staffing Association was putting on. They then put @staffing tweet. So what that is that's actually the ASA's handle. So what they want is for ASA to see this tweet on their feed, and then they hashtag millennials. I respond to responded to that. I said at California Staffing Professionals because I wanted to add them in this conversation. I added at Chartwell Staffing and at Staffing Tweets. I said, check out social media for staffing firms. And what I do is I have this click, goes back to my LinkedIn page, and it goes to my, and it shows a presentation that I've given, a different presentation that I've given to different chapters that exist on my LinkedIn page. I shared this. Chartwell Staffing said thank you for sharing that. And of course, whenever you're online, you're always really nice. Well, I can see that Chartwell Staffing did come into my LinkedIn page and they did read my article. I have my own statistics that show that this came in. So this actually, by responding to this person, I was able to drive them to my LinkedIn page and read an article. And one of the best things you want to do is interesting articles, blogs. This is where you're going to want to retweet a lot of great information. You're going to, sometimes we even see Kimco Staffing, a very large staffing company. They're retweeting something that's 10 things not to put in your resume. This is a great article that candidates are going to want to read. Robert Half, how to handle 5 different developer personalities. Again, this is a great, look at how much engagement. 13 people loved it. 6 people retweeted it. Pictures that just are always the best thing you can add whenever you're doing a tweet. But this is giving. This is part of us adding value to our candidates. The final step when we're doing a campaign is we want to automate a lot of this campaign. We're not going to spend, as you can see, this can look very time-consuming. We don't want to spend this much time working on social media. The ROI needs to make sense. So we need to figure out the ROI. And the way we do that is we're going to automate a lot of our tweets, and then we're going to then be able to evaluate how our tweets are doing and if we're bringing in traffic. One of the things I like to do is create a list of tweets in Excel. Simply, with the programs we use, we create a long list of every tweet. You can use, you can go Google, I want inspirational tweets, I want funny tweets, I want anything that you think you want to do. Google it, and you can get big lists if you want so that you have content to provide. Use automatic tweeting and posting content providers, that Hootsuite, Buffer. The one I like the best is called Tweet Jukebox. I love this program. I'm going to tell all of you, suggest all of you take a look at it. I'm going to show you it next. And then the final thing we're going to do is we're going to evaluate our engagement. And what I mean by evaluating our engagement is really, again, it's our mentions, our retweets, our favorites, but we're really going to get into how many people clicked on my link, how many people looked at my profile from this, and how many people came to my website. And so we're going to get into how we can evaluate if our social media is working, which is the most important part of this whole process. Let's not waste time doing social media if you're not doing it correctly or it's not working for your candidate. This is my page. I walked into this morning. This is a page of, it's a good example of a very engaged page. So when I came in this morning, I had 32 new notifications. I had 12 new direct messages. I had to break it up a little bit, but this is my feed right here. I have all these people doing different things. I have retweets. I have people liking my tweets. I have I have people following me. These are 37 people followed me. These are called mentions. Everything in here, this is, again, direct tweet, notification, here's how you tweet, this is my feed, and my followers. So this is what you like to see in the morning. If you've got a lot of action, that means things are going good. Personally, this account runs at a 62 clout, which means that I'm in the 0.1% of influencers. In order to get to that level, you need people to engage with you, meaning that you need to see this in the morning. You want people retweeting and favoriting your tweets. And my favorite scheduling program, Tweet Jukebox. It's super simple. You just put together a list of your tweets, upload it, and then it's going to automatically tweet it. Say I want it going out once every hour. I want it going every 2 hours. I want it going every at 2:02 on the 5 of every hour. You can do this so simply through this program. I just very recently started using it, I can personally say it's increased my engagement phenomenally. I open my Twitter account almost never, and the reason is because all I have to do is this tweet jukebox is going to automate my tweets on its own. This is really something that is going to save you so much.
We're starting to get some questions coming in, and we are at 1 o'clock, so we will
I'm going to give
start
you
answering some of the questions.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more quick things, and then we're going to start answering questions. Just so you're going to be able to look at this on your own, I want you to look at Twitter Analytics. This is my actual analytics. You go to analytics.twitter.com. It'll show you how many impressions of people who have looked at your page. In the last month, 503,000 have looked at mine. How many page visits you've had. I can then see that this is my best tweet. This tweet got me this number of engagements, profile clicks. The only thing it didn't get me was link click. So I want to make sure that find the tweets that are working for you and find out why they're working, and keep always updating your Twitter list. Google Analytics, this is something you can everyone should be using Google Analytics, and this allows me to show these are actual numbers. I've had 228 people come from my Twitter account over to my webpage on aquahealthlabs.com through my tweet. Using this is the only way you can tell what your ROI is. So, and one thing I want to end off with is whenever you have a question, think Google. Google can answer everything for you, and they have all the questions that you need. So I'm going to pass this back off to Michelle because I know she'd like to jump in.
Well, we just want to kind of wrap it up, but we also want to answer some questions. So there's some coming in. You've done a great job of sharing so much information, and there's so much. The last part, the analytics, that's the gravy. That is the absolute gravy. Is this working?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely want to look at the analytics. As far as, there's a question that's come in about.
So the question comes in and says, how do I avoid using memes? And so what you're going to see is, and she makes a good point, is how do I end up if I make a meme as a joke, what happens if it ends up on Gawker or Reddit? I've been a user of Reddit for about 10 years now. It's a great question, actually. I don't think it's something you have to worry about just because people on Reddit only want to use their own stuff. A lot of times, people are doing memes. It's a good question. I've never seen it as an issue. You may not want to, you know what, I'm sorry, but I don't have a great answer to that. It's just, it's something that I don't think is going to be an issue, but it's a good question. Maybe talk to your marketing department about what they think about that. I do see Reddit having memes all the time, but usually in order to get a post to move up on Reddit, that person has to be a very in-depth, they have to be what's called a power user within Reddit and to be able to get something up on Reddit. And so it's kind of difficult to actually pull off. So people who are doing that generally are doing it for their own reasons, and it's just, I have a hard time getting a Reddit article. If anyone else has questions, please go through and please type them in. We noticed that someone noticed that Canva.com is great for creating pics and graphics. It really does make the process a lot easier when you're trying to create pictures, because pictures are what you want. You're going to get a much better engagement rate from your pictures.
And then there was a question also about the slides being available as well. It will be available. There will be a version available.
Yes, the slides will all be available today. Oh, this is another question that comes in. When is it appropriate to be more self-aggrandizing on social media? Is it a company size? When can I go from Twitter 411 to just promoting my brand? Company size really, yes, you can run into copyright issues. Be sure to, if you place the note who the picture is from, just put their little issue on the bottom. However, I'm going to be completely honest. The internet's a wild west. If you go to images and just say, if you go to images and search in Google, you can find a lot of your background your background, image is what you need. So just say Google, I'm looking for a large image that's this size, and that'll give you a background to start with, and then from there you can start putting, text onto that image. And I've just been told, meme, not Mimi. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Young, I appreciate that.
Well, and then also as far as images, look for things that are copyright free, look for things that are in public domain.
Right, and a lot of things.
When in doubt, don't do it, right?
Right.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah, and a lot of times if you're not using someone else's brand, you're not gonna, or someone else's photo, you're not gonna have a problem. Like, so you don't wanna take a picture of Sylvester Stallone and put, have him mock up him wearing your shirt and working for you. Then we're gonna have a little issue with, Sylvester Stallone. But for the most part, you can go on Google and there are millions and millions of free images that give you a free background to work with, that you can go work from there. And there's a million images, say, like, I have a quick question, like this Google image right here, that's this, where it says Google. I just took this up on Google. They're not gonna care about if I use that, because I'm not using it to try to make money off anything. The idea of copyright is that I would be using your information essentially for my own means to make money. So in this, I'm really promoting Google. So they would be thanking me for using their copyright. Copyright infringement is a very interesting issue. I've actually been in front of the World Intellectual Property Organization twice regarding this. I've had very in-depth lawsuits. I've won both times, but I can tell you copyright is, your union attorney is going to pay about $800 an hour before you can really get into that issue. It's extremely technical.
So as far as any other words of wisdom, or if there's any last-minute questions, we're going to wrap up this segment. We really enjoyed having you join us. Is there any other fine detail, going back to the analytics, and how much time should someone be spending on an average, regardless of the size of the firm, whether it's a small agency or a big agency, just to start the ball rolling? This could become a full-time job, but it doesn't have to be.
Absolutely. We do not want this to be a full-time job. The idea is to set this up one time. So spend a few hours getting tweets. So that may be Googling tweets. A lot of times I started off with inspirational tweets. And I would just copy those tweets. It's fine. Or inspirational quotes. And I'll say who quoted that. That's fine. People like to see this information. It gives me content. But build your Twitter list. So build a list that's just going to be, I have one list that's all inspirational quotes. And then I have one that's called Aqua Health Lab content. And those are my tweets that go out in between my other tweets that are saying, hey, why do women need omega-3, like you saw earlier, where I'm promoting people, and in content marketing, I'm trying to get them to be interested in what I'm giving them to bring them to my website.
So why should I work with a staffing agency? Whether you are a candidate or you are a company, why should I work with a staffing company? That would be a great topic.
Absolutely, that'd be a great one to send out to maybe clients or potential clients. Why should the clients be working with a staffing company? Maybe you can give, no HR hassle, something like that.
Speaking of that, you probably have a whole another additional segment that we could do at some point in time on client development.
Yes, client development would be extremely useful through this. We could definitely. A lot of the techniques that are used here for candidates are the exact same techniques that you can use for your candidates. And I want everyone to know, I've started to work with the California Staffing Professionals. I've joined some committees, and I am here to help you. So if anybody has questions, if anybody wants to ask me something personally, I see myself as a reference for the association. So I want you to reach out to me if you have questions. I'm very happy to get you started. That first question may be, I don't know what to tweet. Go ahead and ask me. I'm very happy to help you guys get started. Shoot me an email, send me a tweet, send me a LinkedIn message, give me a call. All of this, I love to help. This is something I'm clearly passionate about. I've done probably 20 or 30 different Twitter handles. I would love to help anyone who's in the association, and getting started a lot of times is the hardest part. So take a look at some of your competitors, give me a buzz, whatever, I'm here to help.
Great. Well, and thank you very much for joining us.
And I want to thank everyone who's joined us, and on behalf of the California staffing professionals, I thank you.
Great. Well, and if you could mark your calendars for Friday, April 22nd, 12 noon to 1 p.m. That is our next vital topic, and the vital topic is subject on advocacy, which is, it's an election year, and what does that have to do with the staffing industry? Well, you're going to find out. Or it could be called Sharks, Politicians, and Government. Oh, my. So it's a hot topic. Be sure to join us for that. Lobbyist Mike Robeson and PAC Chair Joe Mackey will be presenting, and that's again April 22nd, Vital Talk. And there's also going to be a first time ever, we're going to have a conference sneak peek preview. That's going to be May 2nd, again at noontime, noon to 1, and that's tentatively the day. There'll be more information on that. And finally, CSP's annual conference is May 18th through the 22nd, and that's going to be at the Renaissance Indian Wells Spa and Resort. And if you've never been to the desert in May timeframe, it's perfect. If you've never been to a conference, or it's been a long time, CSP conference is worth every penny. It'll pay you back in results in so many ways. Unbeatable weather, unbeatable training, and unbeatable networking opportunities. So again, that is May 18th through the 22nd, and mark your calendars and sign up. So stay tuned. We'll have coming announcements. They'll be coming in your email. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.